Check one, check two. Check, check, check. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Check one, check two. Make sure we're rolling, and we are live. Happy freaking Monday. It is 8:53 in the morning on September 13th, 2021. Hope y'all had a fantastic weekend. NFL week 1 started. My Cowboys lost on Thursday to a game-winning field goal. That's okay. It was a very good game. Happy Dak Prescott showed up and played lights out. Hope your NFL team won. If not, you got week 2 coming up starting on Thursday. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in. It feels like over the weekend when I don't do a show, feels like it's been forever, and I miss you guys. Hope that you missed my lovely voice. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, whatever. If you're listening to this, that means you are probably not listening to us live. If you're listening on Spotify or whatever you like to listen to your podcast on, so make sure you follow us live. Follow JJ's live show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch so you can catch the show live, because this is a live show where you, the audience, get to be involved with the show. I got something prepared. As you know, I don't write a script. I don't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't write a script, but sometimes I think of something and maybe I write it out on a couple notes. Sometimes I do that and I don't even get to my talking points. I guess I have hot takes and then I have like a topic. I don't know. But the whole point of the show is that it's a live show. So sometimes we don't get to the topics I want to talk about because we get to topics that you want to talk about as the audience. I appreciate everybody who supports the show. The only way I'm going to ask you guys to support the show, I'm going to beg you guys. I'm really going to beg you guys. We need to tickle these algorithms, okay? Our growth on YouTube and Facebook has slowed down a little bit. Twitch has slowed down, although there's not an algorithm on Twitch. But if you would like to hit that like button for me, comment on the video below, and if you share the video, that'd be amazing as well. That's how we're gonna grow the show, everybody. That's how we get the algorithms going. I think I've explained this before. Facebook and social media and other like platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all have algorithms, okay? So it's almost like they know what good content is based on what people do with it, okay? So my retention rate on videos on Facebook is actually pretty good. When people come to watch on Facebook, I know that people stick around for a majority of people stick around for more than 60 seconds, which on Facebook is very good. It's like, but for whatever reason, people just don't interact with the video, right? So if you were to come and watch a video on Facebook, YouTube, or even Twitter or whatever, if you like or you comment on the video, you share the video, that helps boost the algorithm. That gets more it like makes it discoverable to more people, right? So that way we get more people in here, and then it makes the show just better because there's more people watching, and that's the whole point of the live show. Okay, and that's how you're gonna help me promote the show. That's all I'm gonna ask you guys to do. I'm not asking for money. Although if you would like to support monetarily, you can go to Anchor, the show on Anchor or whatever. I'm gonna just go ahead and in the Facebook, I'm gonna go ahead and just drop the Anchor link right there. You can support monetarily on Anchor. You can donate $1 a month or $5 a month or whatever, all the funds I'm going to receive for this is going to go directly to making the podcast better or capturing more audience. Okay, I'm not that I've made any money with this show yet. I'm just saying that in the near future or distant future, however long it takes for me to start earning money from this, that's what it's going to go to first. And then I've talked about before, what I want to do with this show is I want to build up a good community, right? I want to build up just like a little vision for the show is that I want to be able to do something where we can, as a audience or as a community, be able to give back to very finite, like really, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I don't want to just give money to big charities, right? I would like to do things where we can target specific people and help them in that way. I think that if we give money to a charity, like, it might be good, but to be honest, I don't know what I don't trust a lot of charities. I don't really know. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying I don't know where all the money's going, right? But if I take time and I take money or take people or take resources and take them directly to a group of people or directly to someone, then I know that is going to be stretched a long way. Like, I would rather help pay, like, if somebody, for example, I got a notification that somebody at my church's house got struck by lightning, which is really weird because we live in Southern California and there's never lightning here, but their house got struck by lightning and there's some fire damage. I would rather do something where we help somebody specifically in need that has a family or whatever, or maybe we if like another hurricane or earthquake or whatever happens, as like an audience we could raise money, like as a show, like JJ's live show will raise money and raise resources, and will appoint people to take resources directly to them. I might not be able to pay and deliver resources. If I can, I will, but that's just what I see for the show. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, maybe give back to the community. Maybe we can do big meetups with people from the show, and we can do like beach cleanups or something like that. But that's just what I have for the show. I don't want it to be like all about necessarily the content. Obviously, the content is what brings people, but I see, like, for example, let's just take video game streamers on Twitch, right? We're on Twitch right now. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, and there's a lot of video game streamers. I see, like, their life becoming the live stream, and it's just I don't know, it's just kind of weird to me that, like, they're going to dinner and then they're live streaming it and people are interacting with them. I'd rather do something productive in society. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather I don't know, like, I'd rather, if I'm going to live stream me doing something, I'd rather do something where we're giving back, right? And it gives us a purpose for the show. I'm not self-centered enough to where I want to build this show up for me. If I'm building this up for me, I will get completely bored and I will completely abandon it, sort of like I did video game streaming. It's just I'm not self-centered enough. Maybe I don't even like myself. I hate most things I do. Okay, I'm my own worst critic. Okay, and if you hear a lot of squeaking in the background, that's my dog. Of course, right when I go live, playing with the loudest toy he has. He likes throwing things to himself and he'll chase it. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it's not too loud. But if I do start making, if this show does ever, whenever, if ever, take off, I would like to do things where I improve the overall quality of the show, so that way when you guys are listening, you don't hear things like my dog squeaking toys in the background, things like that. So that's where, if you support, that's where your efforts are going to go to. Cooper, what are you doing? Go outside. He's like, I was just outside. Okay, sorry about that. Today I have an interesting topic. We're 10 minutes in and I'm just now getting to my topic of the day. the topic of the day, or whatever you want to call it. The title I have is "Be a Victor, Not a Victim." I've been through a lot of trials in my life. I'm not going to sit here and tell my whole life story, but just know that I've been through it. I've been through the ish, okay? Some of it self-inflicted, most of it not self-inflicted. Some of it I can control, most of it I can't control. A lot of it I can't control, actually. Like, most of the trials of my life I cannot control. Some of the ones I think of that I could have controlled are things like, I don't know, like stuff in the military, because then people will always say, well, you signed up for the military. Okay, well, I didn't know what all it was going to entail when I signed up, okay? So I guess, like, technically I could have avoided doing things in the military, but, I mean, really I can't, you know what I mean? Somebody had to do it. Thank me for my service. Just kidding. So I think that it's just weird looking around our society today. Especially people from my generation. I'm 25. Oh, I just turned 26. I turned 26 last week, a week ago. Well, like a week in a couple days. August 27th is my birthday. Remember that. It's weird looking around people my age or younger and just seeing that it's become cool to be a victim for whatever reason. I never knew that the things I went through were bad until I got older. Or the things I went to should have set me back until I got older. I mean, some of it's surface level, like a lot of people go through it, like parents divorced, not a good household for, you know, my mom's side, really dirt poor on my mom's side pretty much. And then also, when, you know, there was a time when I lived with my dad that we struggled financially just when everybody else did in 2008, you know, blah, 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 blah. Struggled with just not like abusive, like where I was getting like beat up all the time, but like just, I don't know how to explain it. Like just not a good living situation on my mom's side, I guess. Just living in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere or whatever. To having trials and like been close to death or family members getting cancer, very sick, or things happening to me that I couldn't control, but it ended up affecting the rest of my life, I guess you can say. I don't know, just you name it. Like what the trial, like nothing about my life itself is that unique or that special to where somebody else has gone through it, but I've gone through it. But it's weird that, for example, me and a bunch of other people, like a handful of friends I have or had, went through I can't talk about it like legally, that all of that in depth, but we all went through the same trial. Okay, let's just say there's 10 of us. The 10 of us went through the same trial, and about 8 of them decided that whatever happened to us was so bad that they can't live the rest of their life without some sort of legal action, and they decided to sue some people that don't deserve to be sued, but for whatever reason they're so in the dumps of what happened to them that they are such a loser. I mean, what? They are so hurt by what happened that they have to sue, and let me tell you, it is just an ugly situation. Me and another person, on the other hand, went through the same things that the 8 other people did, and we are actually defending the other side. See, I didn't really, my mentor actually put this in perspective to me, and he said this while this was happening, after my dad passed away and a bunch of other stuff happened, and he just looked at me, he said, you've never made yourself the victim. That was his words, not mine. What I've gone through, most people would be the victim of. But I've just had to overcome these things to get to where I'm at today. Am I rich and famous? Nope. Am I super successful? Not really. Am I holding my head above water? Barely. But I'm not a victim. I don't look at the circumstances that have happened to me and think that I could be here and here if it wasn't for this and that. I persevere through the tough times, and I try to become, and I try to learn from them and become a better, stronger man because of it. I don't know if this is actual quote from JFK, but I know that it was in the video game Call of Duty Zombies. I think it was like Black Ops 2, where JFK said, "We do not pray for easier lives. We pray to become stronger men," or something like that. And that has been my prayer for a very long time. I see all these things in the news where people become offended to this or offended to that, and it's just, you're just being a pussy. Let's just be real. Excuse my language, but it is what it is. I don't know when it became cool to be a victim. Like, you deserve to be to trend on social media because you were a victim of something. Look, I hate those little Instagram reel videos or TikTok videos where somebody videotapes them crying over a tragedy. That is the most whack thing ever. You're literally doing that for attention. Now, if you're trying to talk about a message and you start crying or whatever, that's one thing. But like videos where like they just show themselves crying and they type out what happened, that is a cry for attention, and you are exactly what I'm talking about. Now, if you're trying to talk about something and you get emotional, you cry, that's one thing, like I just said. But if you were just taking a video of yourself crying, oh my God, please. And everybody feeds into it because you're a pussy too. Look, I'm not saying I'm the toughest person ever. I'm not trying to be some alpha male saying but being a little girl about everything. But I'm just saying that look, men and women need to man up. Man up is a term that I'm going to use because it is something that I feel like our generation is missing. I've talked about this with several people. In order to be, I'm just going to talk about men for a second. In order to be a man, I'm not saying in order for you to be a real man, you should know how to change tires, change an oil, fix things around the house, be able to stand up for your family. Actually, that should be part of being a man. But I'm not. Okay, let me rephrase this. I'm not saying. Let me restart what I'm saying. In order to be a man, to be a man, I'm not saying you have to know how to change a tire, change the oil, be able to fix things around the house, or love football or whatever. But maybe. But you probably should be able to do some of those things. See, being a man isn't about what you can fix or what you can build or what you look like. It's about the mindset of keeping going even through the trials and tribulations and leading your family through the tough times, through hardships. It's not about laying on your back and crying and like, woe is me. Being a man is being able to stand up for what you believe in, leading your family, being able to stand up for what's right even when other people aren't. That's what being a man is. And some of you women also need to man up. So when I say man up, I mean those things. I mean to quit laying on your back. Get up. You've been knocked down. Get back up. We've all heard the term, life is not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get knocked down and keep going. How many times you get back up. See, the weird thing about going through trials is that no matter how many times you get knocked down, you only need to get up that many times, right? If you get knocked down 7 times, you don't need to pick yourself back up 10 times. You just need to pick yourself back up 7 times, and you're still victorious. There's no sport in the world, there is no competition in the world where you can tie and win, right? You might think, what am I talking about? I mean, like when you get knocked down, you just have to get back up the equal amount of times and you win. Don't quit. You'll eventually win. I used to not like that term, but I get it now. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, you get knocked down 7 times, you only have to get up 7 times. Don't quit. You'll eventually cross the finish line. Whatever it is that you're doing, maybe it's just life in general, maybe it's about your business, maybe it's about your goals in the gym, like I will talk about almost every time on this podcast. Maybe it's, you know, being a better father or parent, getting time with your kids. Every time you get knocked down, you only have to tie in getting up. You get knocked down 9 times, you got to get up 9 times. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Look, I really, when I think of this, like, be a victor, not a victim. In your circumstances, you're gonna have things thrown at you, and you have 2 choices. One, you can either beat it or win it, or you can let it weather you. I remember sometimes, so a little bit about me. When I was 12 years old, I had already been mowing yards, and my dad taught me the value of like working and saving money, and then my dad helped me like buy cows with the money that I would save from Christmases and birthdays or whatever, and then we would sell like the cows, you know what I'm saying? So I bought 1 cow, sold it, made some money, bought another cow, sold it, made some money, you know, having it on my friend's my dad's friend's land, because we didn't own land, we lived in the suburbs, but I was always out in the country doing things with, you know, on people's ranches or farms or whatever. So I bought my very first truck when I was 12 years old. Obviously, under the guidance of my dad. I bought a 1986 Bronco. Me and my dad fixed it up until I was old enough to drive. So the course of 4 or 5 years, it was a slow process, but we did it all ourselves. Well, with the help of a couple of my dad's friends, but we did all the work in the driveway or the garage of my house. And keep in mind, this Bronco it ran when we got it, but barely. It'd been sitting in the field for a long time, so some bolts were like rusted on, and things like that. A bunch of wires chewed up from rats, so we had to do a bunch of little knick-knacky things. And like sometimes a simple project is taking off the starter, taking off the alternator, which is just 3 bolts, turned into a 2-day ordeal because some of the bolts rust on, or we break some bolts, or we break tools trying to get it undone. And I think if you've ever worked on a vehicle, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So sometimes, you know, we're trying to do a quick project and it turns into half-a-day ordeal, and I'm about calling. I'm 15 years old. It's 110 degrees in the summer heat, and we're just sweating and we're about dying. And, you know, we get up, we take a little break, and my dad's like, all right, we got to keep going. And I was like, he would say something like, we can't let it win. We can't let that bolt win. We can't let the project win. And it's so funny, it's so true, that sometimes we can't let a situation win. Sometimes that sounds really obnoxious and really alpha male, or that made up term, toxic masculinity. That's not a real thing. That might sound like that, but we gotta have that mentality that, you know what, we can't let a circumstance win. We can't let a simple bolt on the alternator or the fuel pump. We can't let a wire win. We can't let a little bracket that we get stuck win. We can't let the cards we've been dealt beat us. We can't let the financial burden that we just ran into win. We can't let the situation at work win. We can't let the weights win at the gym. You just can't let that thing win. Sometimes you have to pick yourself up and realize that I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm gonna freaking man up and I'm gonna win. Sometimes people just have a losing mentality, just a loser mindset. Quit being a loser, be a winner. It doesn't take much to be a winner. Like I said, you only have to pick yourself up as many times as you get knocked down. The only thing in the world where you can tie and win. In soccer, if I score 1 goal and you score 1 goal, we draw. Neither of us win. In football, if we're both tied at the end of 4 quarters, we go into overtime. In the NFL, you can tie, which sometimes Star quarterbacks forget that you can tie. Hence Donovan McNabb. Don't remember, look it up. Basketball. If it's tied 100 to 100 at the end of the game, you'd play another overtime quarter. Well, I guess it's not a quarter. You just play an overtime period. Get it? Because if you played another quarter, there's only 4 quarters, right? So you can't have 5 quarters because then that would be like the fraction doesn't make sense. But in life, if you get knocked down 7 times, you only have to get up 7 times. That should be a tie mathematically, but you somehow win. Because that's how it works. Mike coming in the Facebook chat. What's up, dude? I see you change your profile picture. You might have done it a long time ago, but I'm just now seeing it. To you and the baby. The baby looks awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mike Clark and his new baby. Well, I guess it's, I don't know. How old is the baby now, Mike? It's been a little bit. In life, it's unavoidable that life is gonna throw stuff at you. So if you think that you're gonna go through life without failing, you are wrong. Let me make sure, 1 second. I gotta make sure something's pulled up here. So, just so everybody's aware, if you're on Facebook watching, just a little housekeeping. If you're on Facebook watching, long story short, if you're on Facebook watching, the reactions don't show up the way that this is set up. It's because, long story short, Streamlabs, what I use to do the multi-stream, so the way I'm able to stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time, I can't log into JJ's live show from Streamlabs because my account is through JJ Gaming. So I have to basically, I'm streaming it a custom source, which happens to, I made it to Facebook, but it won't show up. It won't show up to, it won't show up with like the notifications and stuff. But I do see the likes, and I appreciate you liking. Everybody on Facebook that's liked so far, appreciate it. Got a handful of people like and come in and watch. Facebook, you must have that connect. Yeah, I think because it shows that I have very good connection right now. If you are having technical difficulties, let me know. Always let me know if you feel like there's a technical difficulty in the chat, everybody, or on the stream, everybody. Let me know in the comments of whatever you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, just so it can be addressed. Sometimes it might be you, but if you feel like it's not you, just let me know, because I only know if you bring it up. Okay? People on Facebook and Twitch say Facebook was being dumb, so you hopped over, but you must have my connection because on Twitch. Yeah, Twitch. So far, everybody's been telling me that Twitch is the best viewing experience for whatever reason. It might be the way that it might be the way that chat and stuff interacts. So it might be you keep getting broadcast interrupted. I think that might be you, because right now I'm looking at my connection. I have a little notification thing, and I think it might be you, dog. Let me check on my phone. Everybody stand by. I appreciate you guys being patient, but we got to make sure that this live stream is solid. I pulled up my phone on mute. I'll let you know if I get a broadcast interrupted. So far, so good. So far, so good. I think might be you, Mike. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Life, it's unavoidable that life is gonna throw something at you. It's unavoidable. Whether, even when I love that meme where it talks, I need to stop verbalizing memes. I just need to show them, but it's saying when life is going good, and it says SpongeBob meme where he squints his eyes, he's looking to his left, and it says when life is going perfect, and then it's like me looking at my car, because it seems like anytime you get your life together, something goes wrong with your car. At least for me. when I get my life put together, it seems like it's always something, right? I legit, like legitimate, just a little more of a personal story. Legitimately, I got, COVID happened, so me and my wife were both out of work. We were both not making money, so we racked up the credit card bill just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But the week I got everything paid off on the credit card, the truck running good, just did some work on the wife's car, got some things fixed around the house. Literally that same week, I got hit saying that I owed money for something that I actually don't owe money for, but then it was for a medical thing, and then they didn't bill the insurance correctly, so now I was like, it was like flagged as bad debt, and then it went, you know, to a credit people, and it dinged my credit, and I had to like pay it off at that moment, otherwise it would have been staying on my credit, and they filed for a deletion for me. But then my truck gets taken off by an RV. Literally, I'm parked, and an RV just came and destroys my side view mirror. And apparently that costs $480 to fix, or $402 to fix. So I went from having $0 credit card debt to having money in the bank to the truck running good to needing work done on the truck, racking up $4,000 on the credit card bill, and all that kind of stuff, all in literally the span of 2 days. It's unavoidable. Things are going to happen. If things never happen to you, then you have a boring life. You never stick your neck out. Your life is average. If you never go through trials and tribulation, your life is like not even average. It's below average. Probably don't. The only way I can think of if you never go through trials is you don't own a car, you don't live on your own, maybe you live with your parents, and they never ask anything of you. So you don't own a car, you don't have any pets, you don't have any bills, you don't have a phone, you don't have social media. Because even if you had no job, no friends, whatever, and you go on social media, somebody's going to roast you on social media. Probably for not having a job or no friends. Or no car. Somebody's going to roast you on social media, so that's a trial. So the only way I can think of is if you just exist. If you just exist, even when if you even lay in a bed too long, you can get bed sores. So you'd have to be like suspended in air, just existing, to not ever go through trials. Because even if you get out of bed, you can still twist your ankle or something. You can literally kick your door jamb on the way out, and that can when you stub your toe, that can like ruin your entire day almost. Biting your tongue and kicking a door jamb are the two most frustrating things that you wish never could happen to you ever again. Life is life. We all gotta learn to man up. I'm not saying that I'm the best at this. I'm not saying that I'm always I try to be positive about things a lot, as far as like when I do go through something, on how to manage my way through it, or how to sometimes I don't have the best attitude, but I work on it. Sometimes I don't have the most optimistic look on a lot of things. But when it comes to what I can control, I try to be positive. And what I can't control, I try to process it and make decisions accordingly. But you can't always control everything. And that's just something you're going to have to come to terms with. When it comes to things like money, my stepmom said it best. Sometimes you have money, sometimes you don't. Just how it goes. Life is going to at you. Life is going to challenge you. That means you're doing something right. I want to encourage you that if you're going through trials, going through tribulations, going through struggles, that means you're doing something right, most likely. unless you, okay, there are things that you can't avoid. Let me just address this real quick. The environment you put yourself in has a huge impact of what happens to you. There's trials that can be avoided. Okay? There are things that sometimes we do to ourselves that's not needed. Okay? What do I mean by that is that sometimes we put ourselves into situations that is not needed, and it can cause more harm than good, and then people complain about this. Like, okay, let's just say this, that toxic ex you have. Okay? You keep texting them, you keep messaging them, and then you keep getting hurt again and again. That's one we all can relate to, right? That's one that we've all probably been there, probably done that. Maybe it's you're trying to not drink as much, but you keep going to the bar with those friends that push you to drink. The environment you put yourself in. Maybe you keep there. I know some dudes who legitimately just keep getting in fights. It's like a thing. Like, there's some dudes that just struggle with fighting for whatever reason. You keep going to those parties, to those clubs, to those bars where those dudes that you know you have beef with, just don't go. There are things that you can't avoid. But for those things you can't, you just got to play with the cards you've been dealt. You can't change the cards you were dealt, but you can change the way you play them. Some of us were born more fortunate than others. I was fortunate. For me, I was fortunate enough to be born and raised in America, the greatest country on the face of the planet. And if you don't agree with me that America is the greatest country on the face of the planet, you can unfollow or never listen to this podcast again. You are doing something right. You just got to keep going. Got to keep after it. I believe in you. You're a strong person. If you're listening to this far, we're about 40 minutes in. That means you want to better yourself and you feel like there's value in listening to this. And I want to encourage you that that going through something means that you're doing something right, unless obviously like the circumstances I just previously mentioned. On that note, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. I just want to remind you that I like legitimately, like, people that come in and participate in the show, that comment, that like, that share or whatever, make sure you share this video, guys. That's like big time, okay? I appreciate it. I wish I could have a way where I just messaged every single person automatically that just was like a thank you card every time somebody likes or comments or whatever, or shares even. Just like a little thank you card that gets sent to them directly into the inbox. Thanks for sharing JJ's live show. JJ's live show appreciates your support. Like something like that. You know what I mean? I wish there was something like that. But maybe one day we can figure this out. I want to thank everybody for coming in, for tuning in. And remember, if you like these tracks that I use on the show, feel free to use them for your live shows, live broadcasts, live streaming, whatever. It's Streamables on Spotify. It's spelled like Streamables. I used to call it Streamables just so you can be able to find it. Streamables on Spotify. Go look it up. My buddy of mine hires people to make this music from the ground up, and it's copyright free. It's DMCA free. All those things that prevent you from using other music on your live show and podcast or whatever. It's not a thing with this music. So you go to Streamables. There's like 6 or 8 albums or something like that. A lot of music's released from Streamables on Spotify. Use it for your live streams, your live videos. All right, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming in. I will be doing another episode tomorrow. So until then, catch y'all in the flippity flip. Peace. Welcome.